Netflix just dropped a first look at its upcoming Pride and Prejudice, and let's just say, Jane Austen fans are divided. On one side, you've got excitement over the stunning visuals, bold casting, and modern storytelling. On the other, total outrage. This isn't Austen, some are saying. But behind the carefully curated photos and press releases lies a much deeper story, one of controversy, creative risk, and a battle between tradition and reinvention. And what's unfolding might just change how we see classic literature forever. This isn't your old Pride and Prejudice. Netflix's new adaptation is throwing out the dusty lace and tea-stained lighting for a cinematic, hyper-stylized world that feels more like a Gothic fairy tale than a Regency drawing room. The color palette? Rich and moody. The costumes? Historically inspired, but creatively exaggerated. This isn't about historical accuracy, it's about vibe. Some are calling it a masterpiece in the making, others a betrayal of the original tone. But one thing's clear, Netflix is taking big, unapologetic swings. And the casting? That's where things really got loud. When Netflix announced Rufus Sewell would play Mr. Bennet, jaws dropped. Known for intense, brooding roles, Sewell's casting raised eyebrows. Could he really pull off the sardonic, soft-spoken father of five? But that was just the beginning. Aside from Rufus Sewell's unexpected turn as Mr. Bennet, the series brings together a refreshingly diverse and unconventional cast. Key roles like Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy are being played by actors like Emma Corrin, who played Princess Diana in The Crown, and Jack Lowden from Slow Horses, whose performances in previous indie and streaming projects made them cult favorites, but not the kind of household names you'd usually expect for such iconic roles. Surprisingly, but not surprisingly, Academy Award winner Olivia Colman as Mrs. Bennet has fans' anticipation increased for this upcoming rendition of classic tale. The Bennet sisters are portrayed by a mix of newcomers and rising stars, with a strong focus on varied cultural backgrounds, a move Netflix is clearly betting on to modernize the story's appeal. Freya Mavor as Jane Bennet, Demetriou as Mr. Collins, Daryl McCormack as Mr. Bingley, Lewis Partridge as Mr. Wickham, Rhea Norwood as Lydia Bennet, Sienna Kelly as Caroline Bingley, and Fiona Shaw as Lady Catherine de Bourg, Hopey Parish as Mary Bennet, and Holly Avery as Kitty Bennet are some of the surprising choices that Netflix has made in this new upcoming edition of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. But critics are split. Some praise the casting as forward-thinking and long overdue, while others claim it distorts Austen's setting and themes. What really stirs the pot is the rumored chemistry between the leads. Insiders have whispered that early screen tests showed too much chemistry, so much so that producers allegedly toned down romantic scenes in early episodes to avoid overshadowing the story's pacing. That choice alone has led to fan theories about rewrites and deleted scenes already circulating on Reddit and X, formerly Twitter. But all that glitz doesn't mean everything went smoothly behind the curtain. While Netflix's press machine paints a polished picture, whispers from inside the production suggest the road to Pride and Prejudice wasn't as smooth as the trailers make it seem. According to anonymous crew leaks, the series went through multiple rewrites, some allegedly prompted by nervous studio execs reacting to early audience feedback during test screenings. The tension? Reportedly, a divide between those pushing for a daring, stylized retelling and others arguing to stay grounded in Austen's subtle social satire. One rumor claims the director walked off set briefly over disagreements on tone, only to return after negotiations behind closed doors. Even the visual style, now praised as bold and theatrical, was allegedly a sticking point early in production. Critics feared the saturated lighting and fashion-forward wardrobe would feel too artificial. Netflix apparently doubled down, insisting the show needed to stand out visually from every other period piece on the platform. None of this has been officially confirmed, of course. But when the behind-the-scenes noise is this loud, it's hard to ignore. And viewers? They weren't quiet either. The internet split fast and deep. The moment the first images dropped, the internet exploded. On one side, people hailed the show as a long-overdue update, a fresh, inclusive take that finally moves Austen's work beyond its traditional, Eurocentric shell. On the other side, outrage. Austen purists accuse Netflix of gutting the novel's soul for clicks and controversy. The casting, the visuals, even the tone, everything became fuel for debate. Elizabeth Bennet wouldn't wear eyeliner like that. One tweet read, "This is Bridgerton cosplay," snapped another. Hashtags like #NotMyDarcy and #AustenUnrecognizable trended for days. Meanwhile, younger audiences and fans of stylized drama rallied around it, saying it was time to reinterpret the classics for a new era. But beneath the aesthetic bickering, a deeper debate was unfolding. Who gets to decide what a classic is and who it's for? Netflix isn't just rolling the dice on Pride and Prejudice. This is a strategic move. After the massive success of shows like Bridgerton, the platform has leaned hard into reimagined period dramas that feel modern, diverse, and binge-worthy. This reboot isn't a one-off. It's a calculated test. If it works, insiders say it could kick off a full-blown Austen revival. Behind the scenes, there are already whispers that Emma and Persuasion are being redeveloped in the same style. Some reports even suggest Netflix hopes to create a loosely connected Austenverse, linking iconic characters across separate shows. Sounds wild? Maybe. But for Netflix, it's not about pleasing every purist. It's about dominating the streaming space with IP that's both familiar and disruptive. And with viewership metrics now favoring social media buzz as much as completion rates, controversy is no longer a problem. It's part of the playbook. But what would Jane Austen say about all this? That's where things get even more interesting. It's the question dividing not just fans, but scholars too. Would Austen approve of all this? Some academics argue that Austen was, in her own time, a disruptor, challenging norms through wit and social critique. They say she'd applaud a reinterpretation that brings new voices and faces into the conversation. Others argue she was deeply precise about class, gender, and subtle emotional nuance, things they fear are getting lost in the glitter and drama. Fans online have picked up the debate, too. One viral post read, "Austen wrote about quiet revolutions. Netflix is throwing a costume party." But another user clapped back, "If Austen were alive, she'd be writing for streaming platforms and banking residuals." In truth, we'll never know. But what we can say is this. Austen's work has survived 2 centuries of reinterpretation, from BBC adaptations to Bollywood musicals. Maybe what makes her stories timeless is exactly that. But this reboot may not be a standalone event. What if Netflix has even bigger plans? This Pride and Prejudice might just be Netflix's first domino. Industry insiders say that if this reboot performs well, more reimagined Austen projects are already lined up. Early development rumors mention Emma and Persuasion, both being pitched with similarly bold aesthetics and a shared thematic thread. The idea? A loose Austenverse, where stories echo each other through tone, style, and maybe even character cameos. It's ambitious, risky, and if fans keep watching, extremely profitable. But whether it's love or hate, this reboot is making waves. And the final takeaway might surprise you. Whether you love it, hate it, or haven't decided yet, Netflix's Pride and Prejudice reboot is more than just another period drama. It's a cultural moment. It's a test of how far we can stretch a beloved classic before it breaks, and whether modern reinterpretations can stand alongside the originals or risk overshadowing them. But here's the real twist. Even in the backlash, the buzz, the speculation, everyone's watching. And maybe that's what Netflix was counting on all along. Because in 2025, controversy doesn't kill a show, it makes it trend.